shithole?
What are you most hyped about for this update? People have shit to do that isn't robbing banks.
Go to me, Max. Leave me here and go
Go
sign
in,
in.
brother. Go check
Go
all
sign-
500
leave me
houses.
here.
It's got the whole shop
sign
front
in,
shit
Randy.
has the vibe of like
Oh my god.
a mini
yeah,
server
yeah.
wipe in a way, you know what I mean? And this is why I think I think Dean's
You're
World and
signing
shit was
come
like
back?
good in the concept in which way it worked, and the reality is this is just a copy of it, but it's just spread into storefronts, so it feels like everything's being renewed and it's like progressed into something. But the reality is it's pretty much the same. But that's what I think we need to do with updates, is try to refresh things. And last time we did this, the big update we did was a refresh of all the drug systems, and it had the same effect for like 2 or so months.
You get a new business, you don't call me, you haven't spoken to me since.
People I feel like people really enjoyed the server for a while, and that's what I think this will do.
You remember how to spell my name?
Everybody has a goal, a new goal. It isn't about getting a car. It's about robbing a bank and getting to a certain area. It's about building your character in a way. And despite, I know a lot of people think that, well, some people have said the solo character is fucked and shit like that. The solo criminal is fucked and shit like that. I think that's I think the solo criminal is fucking dumb anyway. And it makes you need connections, which is what a solo criminal should need to do. You know what I mean? Which turns you into a gang usually, and that's what I think people are not understanding, that it's sort of giving them progression, but people are choosing not to do it.
Chopping? What about chopping?
And I understand it, but yeah.
Really? What do you? Oh, for the watches, right?
You can still go cook meth and do all that sort of shit, but you need to find a gang and start selling to them.
Yeah,
instead of being the cook and the fucking dealer and all that sort of shit. It creates the hierarchy that needs to be there in a world for it to be somewhat immersive and have roleplay, connections and shit like that.
Big chillin'. So if I want to sell gold bars, I just sell it to you. How much? Good price, good price.
Not if your RP is a serial killer. Well, yeah, serial. I'm talking about like gang-oriented shit. You know what I'm saying? Serial killer is completely different. It would make sense you would be solo. But they're talking about like not being able to boost and not being able to do meth runs and shit like that. But they're not designed for solo players. They literally are designed for solo players. They're designed for crews. And people's lack of roleplay is the reason we've created these mechanics.
Oh shit, what'd you get? Wait, what was it?
What
is it?
And you might think it's dumb, but the way I see it is now, so I know the police aren't perfect.
I saw.
But the reality is, when you have whitelist systems like this, it's a lot easier to manage who can fuck with what. Because if anyone could be a police officer, right, the server would be dog shit. Can we not agree?
Maybe.
And I think if we can limit who can do meth runs and fuck with the police constantly,
why not?
we can also prevent the server from being dog shit for the police. Because the police have had the biggest issue in all of 3.0 of feeling like they're NPCs, not being able to be aggressive and shit like that. Because there'd be people that would come in, do a meth run, ram the cops at 1,000,000 miles an hour, solo crew, and the cops just get sick of it. And it's a retaliatory thing. And this happens on both sides, mind you. And then they'd end up running into a crew that's like put effort in, and the cops would go harder because they're sick of the same shit. And then that crew would get fucked in the ass, and they'd do the same thing back, sort of thing. Boosting isn't for only gangs. Boosting is for people that Wise Guy want to be boosting. So, yeah, that's pretty much the intention of how it was meant to be. Why should it, why think about what boosting is, okay? It's not you just stealing a car. You're using high quality hacking devices bought over a black market to steal vehicles for a person that will give you essentially crypto for them and money. You're not a low tier criminal. It might seem like that because it was spammed by every papega in the world, but the reality is the low tier shit is like doing the not the boosts, the car scrapping shit. That's a low tier criminal. But everybody goes instantly to the highest thing because that's how you do it. But you've got, and this is why I appreciate people like Wayne in CG. He's a perfect example of how you should do it. Yeah, he hasn't been perfect, but he first come to the server, started low, you know. He got into the weeds, started dealing drugs, bought his house, ended up building a fucking empire of drugs, right? He didn't just fucking go, hey, I'm an empire now. Let's get to the end goal. He went from the beginning to the end, and, you know, developed a character in a roleplay server. And I think, honestly, it's a lot easier to see good role players using... Good role players stand out when they have minimal tools to use. It's a lot easier to see a good character, I guess, because they have to interact with you. They have to sell drugs to you. You know, if they want a car boost, they have to come talk to certain people. It creates that interaction that needs to be there instead of like 500 people boosting because they can boost. It's just fucking dumb as a core idea. There's a reason. There's a reason why it needs to be separated. The reality is we want a server where people roleplay, but people do the shortcut or whatever's easiest or the most content. And if we limit that, then we just create the world that makes sense. I want to see as a when I came on as Francis, you know, I wanted to do shitlord shit. I was hitting the jewelry store. I was trying to make goals. The only reason I got developed into, you know, bigger things quicker is because I already had connections with CG from being a cop for like 2 years. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the character just got there. But I like the idea of creating a hardcore character and having to work my way through a process. You know what I mean? Like that making a character now for me isn't actually a bad idea. Like I sort of like the idea of going and making a hardcore character and actually having to try and build something. You know what I mean? And I think if we have more of that and it's not you know, so weird, I think it'll be better and healthier for the server overall. One day I'll get a job of robbing a house. But yeah, you know, people can still rob houses and shit. Like this is honestly what probably all. Actually, let's have a look.
Oh, I got another job. I got another house.
Look how many people. You say that this is exactly how it should be. All the solos are literally robbing houses right now. These are all these guys are logged into fucking solo criminal shit.
Alright, so the jewelry parts that you get from houses are the ones that make.
That's exactly how it should be. So hopefully,
see, like,
once you know, a week or two from now, these guys aren't going to want to rob houses, right? We're going to have to talk to these people, and they're going to have to bring shit to us.
Get the queue quick,
The one I made was worse than the one you found.
Zerk is the best example. Zerk is a very good example, yeah.
Break down 4 other things for it.
Yeah, so it doesn't really make sense.
I mean, honestly, even Summit was a good example in terms of like building up. He went from like spamming toes to hitting stores to getting into banks and shit. Even though everyone said he was a shit role player or whatever, he still did the process by himself and built himself
if we get it
from the bottom. He didn't just get handed anything.
It's me, Eugene, Keith, Franny.
Although it's different these days, but you know, like I said, once you're sort of a veteran, it's
yeah, because if we rob houses, we get
it's a little
like,
more understandable.
Rings, I think, and then Kate can like evaluate the ring.
Dean did. I mean, a lot of people did it 3.0 because you were forced to in a wipe. To be fair, but
get, like,
yeah,
special abilities and shit.
It's gonna be.
This one actually.
Yeah, robbing houses is sick. That's what you guys should do, to be honest. Rob some houses. And if you had like
Summertime,
rings
he
or,
gets
like,
shit on too much.
Yeah, rope you.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, you should. Houses are pretty good right now.
Reddit fucking talks so much shit about him when he first got into the server, and he was the XQC back then, right? Of how bad of a person he was for roleplay. But I guarantee you talk to any streamer on Nopixel that's relevant, and they'll do nothing but, you know, pretty much. If they met someone IRL, they'd probably just thank him for what he did for them. You know what I mean? And the same thing goes for XQC now. You guys, you honestly, you're just like jealous retards. You don't understand like how valuable they are to our community. It is a streaming community, and I know there's all these people that are like, oh, you know, this guy's bad, that guy's bad. But the reality is, if CG wasn't here, if XQC wasn't here, and if, you know, Buddha wasn't here, I don't think Nopixel would even be worth streaming or developing. You know what I mean? But they're people that everybody has had problems with at some point in Nopixel's past.
You can't even like modify or you can't do.
I just don't, you know what I mean? Like, and if Nopixel, if those people weren't on Nopixel, all the people that complain, the small streamers that are like, oh yeah, I'm all about roleplay and shit, they're not. They are not purely about roleplay. They're here for viewers. That's what they want out of the server. I mean, sure, there's people here purely for roleplay, but trust me, if these guys weren't here, majority of the people that cry and shit wouldn't be here either, because they're fucking rats. They're actual rats, dude. As soon as Tier 5P banned,
yeah, the big houses are fucking.
They are, dude.
no, I don't agree with all the shit that went on with Tier 5P, by the way.
What you did with detecting?
But then again, I don't know the ins and outs, so you know. I might mean here and there, but I really don't know much of what happened. But as soon as they banned Sheriff Eli, I knew that place was dead. That was never gonna last as soon as he left, because he was a character. Like, obviously, like I said, there was some OOC shit. He handled shit differently than other staff would have. Like, he'd do shit in game, and I think that was the biggest problem. If everything was handled afterwards, it would have been better. But, you know, like, there was still OOC dramas and shit here and there. But the reality is, I think he was still a core part of entertainment and drama that people enjoy watching. As soon as they banned the biggest thing in their server, it was done. And it was the same thing that happened with what was the SEO? What was the other fucking place before that? The banned Lyric and Summit. What was that place? It says SOE. As soon as they ban those people, game over. You know what I mean? But the reality is, every single person that was streaming on SOE or streaming on TFRP were like, yeah, I'm about roleplay. I just want some sick roleplay. Ban all the people that don't want that. But they all ended up leaving those fucking servers as soon as the big streamers left. You know what I mean? Like, they might be that fucking stupid that they don't understand what they really want, or they're just saying what they want to make you guys think they actually give a fuck. It's just not how it is, though. Every motherfucker would leave this server in a heartbeat if the bigger streamers were on a different server. Because that's what they're here for. They're here for content and leeching. And I don't say that in a negative way, but you should embrace it rather than be snide about it. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. And that's why I get triggered when these fucking idiots go on Twitter. They'll make a post like, oh, Nopixel is dog shit because of this. Then fucking a month later, they're back on the server because their viewers are 0, trying to suck off the same people that it didn't work for the first time. What they don't understand is, like, it's not the server that's dog shit. That's not why I don't get viewers. It's because you're not entertaining enough to hold viewers. And that's why if I go play other games, my viewers will go down. Because I need to be a retard like Francis to be interesting, you know what I mean? But you need to understand that, I think, to be good at it. So